Our goal is to transform ourselves, our inner core feeling, from a feeling of not enough or not good enough to a feeling of I am enough and I am good enough. Let's define good enough. Good enough means three things. I have an unconditional feeling. Number two, I have a robust feeling. And three, I have a core feeling of value. The two issues of value, according to Dr. Nathaniel Branden in 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, an expert in self-esteem, are number one, self-worth or inner value, just because I am. And secondly, competence and talent, resources, abilities. So there's an innate worth of value of just by being in this world, worthy of love, worthy of respect, worthy of being here, an inner contentment with yourself. And secondly, I am competent to deal with and handle life's challenges. What does unconditional mean? An unconditional feeling. It means that I am not loved conditionally. I am loved unconditionally, or I love or value myself unconditionally. I'm not dependent on someone else's approval. Now, growing up, I perhaps was dependent on the approval of parents, of teachers, of grandparents, uncles and aunts, of peers. And I became dependent on their approbation, of their value, their feedback to feel good about myself. That's number one. Unconditional feeling of I'm unconditionally good, not dependent on someone else. Second, it's a robust feeling. It's a feeling of inner resilience, that I can handle life, that I am outgoing, that I have an inner strength, an inner core power of being self, of being myself, of being proud of myself. It's not fearful. I don't walk into a room fearful, thinking, are they going to like me? Rather, I walk in saying, hello, my name is Yisrael Roll. There's a hint. When you introduce yourself, say your name and then pause. My name is Jeff Schwartz. My name is Julie Markowitz. My name is Nathan Bartholomew. Don't say my name is Nathan Bartholomew, because I can't understand what you're saying. I can't say Yisrael Roll. Yisrael what? You say your name, Yisrael Roll. Pause, punch. Say your name, pause, punch. Go up, Yisrael Roll. Julie Markowitz. Nathaniel Bartholomew. That's a confidence of I'm present, I'm here, and I have something to contribute. I don't care whether you approve of me or not. So the first thing is that we want to be unconditionally valued. We value ourselves unconditionally, not conditionally. Secondly, that my feeling about myself and my worth is robust. It is resilient. It is strong. It is outgoing. It is forward, not backward, not fearful, not like this, but like this. And third, I have an inner core understanding of self. I know myself. I know my strengths. And therefore, we have to transform ourselves in this process of transforming ourselves from a person who is not enough to a person who is enough. We have to transform ourselves from a person who is seeking approval. I am approval seeking. I want your approval. I want your approbation. I want you to like me. And I leave the world of needing to someone to like me. That's a world of dependence. I become codependent on someone else liking me to feel good about myself. Rather, I become independent. I become independent of other people's liking me or not. And I became a person who is seeking to make a contribution to this world, to my community, my family, my friends, my relationships, my job, my career. I am here, I have value, I have talent, and I'm going to contribute, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, I'll find somewhere else to contribute. But I don't need your approval. And this is a very important point in graduating from seeking approval to making my contribution. For more information about this topic, You can see my book on Amazon.com called Rejection: From Seeking Approval to Making My Contribution. Now, what are the reasons why I have developed, or you and I have developed, a sense of not enough? Let's talk about nature and nurture. You know, the nature-nurture debate. Is it caused by nurture, my environment, or is it caused by nature, is my personality shaped by nurture, people around me, my upbringing, or my born innate nature, my genetic, biological makeup? The answer is, according to most studies, nature and nurture, both together in different proportions, make up the quality of a person's self-esteem or self-concept or self-worth. What are the dimensions of nurture which could lead me to feeling not enough? First is, if my parents were people who had an environment of home of judging others. Oh, they're in the in crowd. They're successful. They're very successful. They have money. When we have an environment, we grow up in an environment where our parents are judging others and looking at others and analyzing others, then we learn to judge others and become competitive with others in order to feel valuable. If they're good, if they're successful, they're good. If you're not successful, not competing, then you're not good enough. The second area is if parents are non-expressive or matter of fact or cool, aloof, non-demonstrative, non-emotional, we as children can take that as, you don't care about me, you don't love me, you don't embrace me, you just take me as matter of fact. And I can internalize a view of that of, well, if my parents are not hugging me or warmly smiling at me or accepting me or embracing me, then I feel not accepted. I feel not good enough. Third, if my parents are overwhelmed, if I grow up in a noisy environment, a screaming environment, a very loud environment, and parents don't have time, they have marital pressure, they have financial pressure, they have divorce pressure, separation pressure, illness in the family, they don't have time to give me attention, well, then we have stories of people saying, children saying, Dad, how much do you make an hour? Oh, I make $75 an hour. Okay, well, Dad, here's $37.50. Can I buy a half an hour of your time? Very sad and very painful for a child to come to the parent and say, can I buy some time from you? So we are overwhelmed, but the parents don't mean it. The parents are overwhelmed. They have pressure. They have things going on in their lives. They don't have the emotional bandwidth to give that emotional love, emotional attention, emotional time, to take their kids out one by one, to take their kids out once a week, to spend time with them. Before they know it, kids are 15, 16 and saying, we have a generation gap. Mom and dad don't pay attention to me. I'm not important to them. They don't have time for me. The parents don't mean it. It's just that the style of parenting, the style of their environment has caused the child to incorporate within themselves a feeling of, they don't have time for me. I'm not good enough. Fourth, parents look at money as the yardstick of success instead of meaning in life. They say, oh, they're successful, keeping up with the Joneses. They got a caravan, they went on a vacation, and they feel jealous when we talk about how much money they have. If money is a topic of conversation, and I grew up in that environment, then I'm going to be a very competitive person, and I'm going to say, if I have money, I'm valued. And how many of us have money? How many of us have real money? 5% of the population, 2%, 8%, 10%. So most of us are making a living, or just not making a living, just making it. And therefore, I don't feel good enough because I'm not competitive in the marketplace. I'm not looked at for my values, for my meaning, for my activities, for my contributions, for my help to other people. That's not important to my parents. What's important is how much money. Are they successful or are they not successful? And therefore, I learned that I have to compete in order to be successful in my parents' eyes. And then I might feel, well, I'm only making $30,000 a year or $40,000 a year. I'm not good enough in the eyes of my parents. 5, results versus process. The parents say, oh, you got an 98? Well, what about the 100? What did your friends get? Or what are your other friends doing? Or what do they have? Or what are the Joneses? When are they going on vacation? Oh, they are they? I see. If parents look at results instead of process, If you bring a photograph or a picture or an art project to your parents and they say, oh, that's nice. Well, what do you think, mom and dad? And we rely on our parents to judge the picture or judge our work, then we're relying on them for their opinion of my results, as opposed to a parent saying, I like your effort, I like the colors, I like the dimensions, I like your creativity. When parents focus on results only and not on the process that I'm putting in my effort into a art project or any project or effort into my schoolwork, then parents are looking at results, not my effort, my process, my injection of energy and creativity in a project. And therefore, I'm only judged by results and not by my personal introduction of ideas, thoughts, creativity in a project. These are reasons why through nurture, I can feel not good enough. These issues of nurture combined with my nature, that my own personal nature, my biological nature, my genetic makeup, my personality could cause me to combine with my environment and my own personal nature and could turn me into a person who does not look favorably upon myself. What kind of genetic personality makeup ideas do I have within me that could lead me to be susceptible to being not good enough? First, my temperament. If I am very sensitive, a sensitive person by nature, I am not stoic. I don't let things fall off my back or roll off my back like a duck's back. Rather, I'm a sensitive soul and I take things personally. Well, that's my nature. People say to me, well, don't take things sensitively. Don't take things personally. Well, that's what I do. That's who I am. That's my temperament. I'm born that way. I can work on it, perhaps, but if I grow up with a sensitive nature and people are robust, people are tough, people are strong, people are aloof, people are not loving and warm, then my nature of sensitivity combined with their rough and tumble nature or their discipline or their hard judgmental criticism will make me feel, interpret them as a person who says, I'm not good enough. Second, if I am a vulnerable emotional person, then I am not a tough-skinned person. My sister and brother were tough-skinned. When my parents would be disciplining them, they would make fun of them. They would laugh. They would laugh at them. And I would go, oh my gosh, my parents are not happy with me. So we grew up in the same home, but my temperament was gentle, sensitive, vulnerable. Theirs was tough-skinned. They're tougher people. That's not their fault. That's not my fault. That's how I am. I can learn to be more tough-skinned, but it takes a long time to develop that kind of stoic nature when I'm born naturally vulnerable and emotionally sensitive. Third, if I am a feeling person as opposed to an intellectual person, then I am a person who feels more. Therefore, trauma or embarrassment or negativity or my parents screaming at me, I feel it more than my siblings who are more stoic and don't really care as much. And fourth, if I doubt myself, if I don't have that inner confidence, if I'm not good at school or I'm not popular, I'm not good at sports, I have a learning disability, then I have a natural proclivity toward sensitivity and I'm not so sure about myself. So those issues of my own personal nature, my natural, biological, genetic DNA, personality makeup, together with nurture of a tough upbringing, may lead to my feeling not enough, not good enough. How do we solve this problem? How do we begin to transform ourselves from not enough to good enough? Now, there are three dimensions of self, and they are cognitive, the mind, emotional, the feelings, behavioral actions. We're concentrating right now, at the beginning of our program, on the cognitive. Later, we'll deal with the emotional and the behavioral. But right now, dealing with the awareness, the cognitive awareness of what my strengths are, we can turn to something called the wheel of strengths. This is called the wheel of strengths, and I want to share it with you. The wheel of strengths is a circle made up of 6 sections: intellect, social skills, personality or character, spirituality, family, and personal growth. Now, these are 6 sections, 6 dimensions of self. You can find this wheel of strengths on my website. If you go to yisroelroll.com, YISROELROLL.com, go to psychotherapy and click on Wheel of Strengths. You can download this picture and then fill it out. What I'm going to ask you to do is fill out 2 strengths you have under intellect, 2 positive strengths you have under social skills, 2 character strengths or personality strengths that you have, 2 strengths that you have of spirituality, what inspires you, 2 family strengths, how you contribute to family, and 2 areas where you want to grow personally. And I want you to fill out this wheel of strengths. And I want you to do some homework for me. I want you to make 4 copies of this. And I want you to place these 4 copies, one by your computer, one by your bedstand, one in your car, and one on your fridge. And I want you to look at it and see it and confront yourself with your positive abilities, your positive 6 areas of positive strength, your intellectual strength, your social strengths, your personality, character strengths, your spirituality, your contribution to family, and your growth. And I want you to work on and become aware of and conscious of that you have strengths to meet life's challenges. Look at the positives. Do not include anything negative on this wheel of strengths, only positives. And I want you to then, every day, I want you to obtain and pick up a notebook, a journal. And I want you to start journaling. Journaling is very important about this process. My teacher, mentor, Rebbe, Rabbi, Dr. Abraham Tversky, a world-renowned psychiatrist who wrote 90 books on self-esteem, who was an expert in addiction and self-esteem development. He said that journaling, based on his book called 10 Steps to Being Your Best, talks about journaling as recording your feelings, your thoughts, and working on yourself in writing is a very important dimension of transforming yourself from negativity to positivity, from not good enough to good enough, a process of self-transformation. And I want you to write down a circle every day, date it, December 18th, December 19th, December 20th. Every day, draw a circle and divide it up into 4 sections. And I want you to write down, number 1, what are you most proud of that you've accomplished or did in the past 24 hours? Second, in the second quadrant, I want you to write down, why was that thing that you did significant? Why was it important? In the third quadrant, I want you to write down, how did that thing that you did that you're proud of bring you closer to your goals? And fourth, in the fourth quadrant, I want you to write down, what would have happened had you not done that particular thing of which you are proud? Every day, I want you to work on this for 2 weeks, 2-week exercise. So I want you to have your wheel of strengths in 4 places around your house. And I want you to do the journaling exercise of writing every day a circle with 4 quadrants of what you are proud of. And this is a way to become more conscious, cognitively aware. And that's our section here of cognition, awareness, that you are better than you think you are. And that will begin the process of becoming conscious and aware cognitively, mentally, intellectually, that you know that you have strengths to meet life's challenges. Later, we'll deal with the emotional part and the behavioral, the action part of this transformation process. Right now, we're working on the cognitive development of self. And this system, this part of mind, heart, and action can be found in my webinar online called Freedom from Anxiety. You can look at it at Freedom from Anxiety at my YouTube channel, Yisroel Roll YouTube channel. I have 2 versions of it, one called Freedom from Anxiety, 3-part webinar, and one called the Believe in Yourself webinar, an 8-part webinar. Either one is good, either one is applicable. One has Jewish sources called the Believe in Yourself seminar, the Believe in Yourself seminar, and that has Jewish sources and Jewish background and Jewish classic texts backing it up. And the second one is a general one, a secular one for general audiences, talking about self-esteem in the marketplace and how you can grow as a person without the Jewish sources. So either one is good to follow, depending on which one you're interested in. So I want you to work on this process. This is step one of our process, and we'll get together for part 3 of our webinar, of our workshop series on transforming the self from not good enough to good enough next time. Thanks for listening.